everybody, it is Swankivy with another ACE interview. This is my newish series where I'm having wonderful volunteers on here to talk about their ACE experience. And today joining us is Maxwell. I am going to let Maxwell introduce himself. Go ahead, Maxwell.
Hi, Ivy. My name is Maxwell. I'm a college student from California studying computer science. I'm also interested in nutrition and sustainable living, and just really excited to be here.
Yay. All right. Well, I'm really glad that you said yes to the invitation because you're actually the first person that I have interviewed that is male. So that is cool. Can you tell me a little bit about like what's your orientation and stuff like that?
Sure. So I identify as quoiromantic, asexual. That term made the most sense to me. Those terms that felt most closely representative of my experience.
I'm not sure that I'm that familiar with what quoiromantic is for you or in general. I mean, it kind of sounds like it's like I'm not really sure, or a question kind of thing. How do you define quoiromantic?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Not really being clear about the line between friendship and romance. That's how it feels to me. I have difficulty distinguishing between them. And so I don't feel that aromantic is quite right for me as a label, but I also don't have romantic feelings strong enough that I identify with any other romantic orientation. So when I found Quaromantic, I think it was on Ethan that I found it. It felt the most right.
Yeah, that's relatable. Because a lot of times for me, I'm like, I feel like I'm not ready to call anything that I feel romantic, but it's still very close sometimes. And I'm like, I'm not sure. Would somebody else say that they love this person romantic? I don't know. So I don't know. That might be more relatable for me than I thought. But yeah, I identify as aromantic. So it's kind of.
So one part of romanticism that it appeals more strongly to me, I like the idea of having a partner or even getting married someday, and getting married itself, that feels very romantic to me. But the most common physical characteristics of that kind of relationship, I don't find them appealing. I don't really understand the appeal of kissing,
Right.
and cuddling is something I feel very ambivalent about it. So some parts of a romantic relationship I'm definitely interested in, and others I don't understand.
Right. Yeah. We do have a really strong division between friendship versus romance in our society, and we put a lot of like pressure on you to figure it out. So I can see why. I mean, we end up having to kind of spend a lot of time on our definitions of what is this feeling and what does this belong to when we're ACE, because we don't have any shortcuts. So if you wouldn't mind, can you kind of tell us your ACE discovery story? How'd you figure out you were asexual and how'd that go?
Sure, it's not something I really thought about a lot until probably my late teens.
Mhm.
I did notice earlier than that. For example, in middle school is probably when some of my peers started seriously dating, but it didn't feel like the right time for me. I thought maybe this is still too early. Um, but by the time I was 18 years old and I still wasn't having those feelings, I
Yeah.
thought at this point, I'm old enough to get married. So if I'm not having these feelings, I don't know why, but maybe it isn't just a matter of time. Maybe it might not happen. Um, so when I was 16, I had a friend, um, a female friend who expressed interest in me, and I wasn't sure what I should be feeling, but I definitely did like her. She's a wonderful person. Um, and I suppose they were sort of like dates. We saw each other a few times, and I really enjoyed spending time with her. However, she at one point expressed an interest in kissing me, and I realized we were not feeling the same things. Even then, it was, I still felt as though it might be too soon
Mm-hmm.
at that point. But then a number of years later, I found the documentary Asexual, and it felt right.
Right. So after you saw the movie, you decided to look up and check out other places that people might be talking about asexuality online.
Right.
Mm.
That's when I found Haven and your channel.
Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, that's also relatable. A lot of us figure out we don't want the same things as other people by trying to do the same things as other people. That's what I did too. Um, so let's see. I guess the next question on my list is kind of about romantic orientation. We talked about how you define it, but can you maybe talk about your opinions and experiences about dating and relationships as an ace person? I guess this one that you just mentioned was one try. Has there been more?
That was, well, I've never been in a relationship. I wouldn't say that I have. But there have been several times that a friend has expressed interest in me.
Right.
That one at 16 is probably uh, the most complicated
Oh,
because I really didn't know what was going on.
yeah.
I think I've gotten a little better at recognizing when someone is flirting with me than than I used to be, and so I think I'm better at handling it. Hopefully, us remaining friends,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I do like the idea of having a partner, but in none of these instances have the feelings been completely mutual, um, in the way that I would want them to be.
I see. So ideally, you would like to have something that's more like a platonic marriage.
um, I like the idea of that, but I'm also okay if that doesn't happen.
I see. Yeah. So, I guess, yeah, we've mostly talked about kind of the ins and outs of that, but you're also you're a young man, and that I have heard from some other guys while I was talking to some of them for research for my book about how the community is kind of dominated by women primarily, and we also have a lot of non-binary people, but the male participation in the ace community is pretty small. And then also in the society at large, men have different kind of pressures and expectations regarding sex. So I mean, do you have anything to say about that as a male ace?
Sure. So certainly there are some really great examples of male asexual representation
Mhm.
on the internet and in the media,
Mhm.
um, but they are less common in my experience. I've had to seek them out,
Yeah.
and I think maybe this feeling not seeing my experience represented might be part of why I don't feel that masculinity is not very appealing to me,
Mhm.
uh, as a concept of something I want to be seen as.
Mhm.
Um, it's just not very important to me. And that might be a factor in it.
Mhm.
Um, something that has definitely happened a few times that people will, other guys, for example, will assume that I'm straight,
Mhm.
um, and maybe make comments about women
Mm.
around me, for example, just pointing out to me that I think someone was, like, a girl is cute or something, or will assume that I have a girlfriend. Uh, I'd say, no, I'm not dating anyone, and I'm okay with that. Or, oh, did you think she was cute? I thought she was really friendly. Um, so it's a little othering, but it hasn't been a big concern.
Mm.
Um, but is really nice, uh, for example, on Haven, to be able to see other people with, like, male aces, for example, people that maybe come from a similar background to me in that regard. It's
Mhm.
great that that community is there.
Yeah, makes sense. As a female ace, I'm always getting like comments like, well, women don't even want sex anyway. Like, it's like, in my experience, they do. um,
Yeah.
but like, it's so weird to me how people kind of draw these gendered lines. It's like, well, your sexuality isn't even about you. Oh, thank you for saying that to me. You know, as if number one, there aren't male aces, and number two, as
Mhm.
if like sex is something that a guy does to a lady. It's like that I'm not supposed to worry about whether I like it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is not the primary narrative, but it's like the He-Man kind of nasty dude that you wouldn't even want to be friends with somebody like that. So it's interesting because there are some guys who are very preoccupied with their masculinity, and they're like, oh, I need to be seen as manly, but how do I do that if I'm not always talking about all of my conquests? Whereas I imagine that it isn't as bad if you're just kind of like, I don't really care if you think that I'm masculine enough. I don't know.
I just don't see the appeal.
Yeah, I think that's cool because I don't know. I mean, this might be a little bit of a tangent or a digression or whatever, but just I grew up as a bit of a strange outsider kind of person in a lot of other ways before I found out I was asexual. Like I was the only Jewish kid in my class.
Mm.
And then, when I went to my Jewish community, this is kind of a small thing, I guess, but I almost everyone had dark hair and I had blonde hair, and
Oh.
I was given a name that couldn't even be written in Hebrew. So it's like kind of in both places I was weird. And um and then like there's, I don't know, some other stuff, like they put me in the gifted program, and so people thought I was a nerd and stuff like that. And so it's sort of like you get more comfortable outside of expectations. You're so used to people saying you're weird that by the time you're a teenager, you're like,
Yeah.
so. And that was kind of, it made it easier. Whereas I think some of the other people who, that's the first like weirdness that they encounter
Hmm.
as they become mature, and they're like having a crisis about it. I think it makes it a lot easier if you've kind of always had a few things about you that are a little bit different from most people, and you're just like, oh, here's another one. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. I don't know if you find that relatable, but it just reminded me of
Oh,
that.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sort of like, I don't feel that, like, when I realized I was asexual, there was no feeling of, oh, now I'm so different. It was definitely more relief. Sorry, I already felt different.
Mm-hmm. Interesting how diverse our experiences are, because there are some people who realize this about themselves and have a breakdown or feel so lost. And for me, it's just like it was very gradual because I kind of had to invent stuff. There was no
Hmm.
ace community to find, and I was just like, this is the word for what I am experiencing, I guess. And it wasn't a big revelation for me. It was just kind of there. So it's different for everyone, and I'm glad I'm having people kind of talk about various ends of the spectrum of discovery, because it's I'm sure there's lots of people out there who have heard kind of the primary narratives of like, oh, I realized I was ace and I was broken and stuff like that. that there are also people who didn't feel like that.
I know. Well, I mean, in terms of feeling broken, I felt less broken when I realized I was asexual, because it's
Yeah.
not as if the feelings themselves were new. The community was what was new to me.
Oh, that's great. Cool. Okay. Um, so I have a couple questions that I usually ask everybody that I have on here, and they're kind of boilerplate questions, but I just wanted to ask if you have
Probably
some
the hardest
answers
thing
for what you think
is
the hardest things about being ace have been for you.
worrying that I will not be valued as a friend to the same level that people value their romantic partners. David J actually has a great video about this on his channel, Overcoming Fear of Loneliness While Ace.
Mm,
Um, Essentially, just that, people prioritize their partners, and I'm concerned that I will not find those kinds of stable relationships.
mm,
That would be the biggest fear, the hardest part.
yeah. Gosh, that is really relatable. Um, it's kind of like we're trained as a society to automatically demote anyone who is not our partner to like friendship is way down here, you know. And since I'm aromantic and I only have friendships, it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know. But I've
I,
had my best
I,
friends for like 20 years, so
that's wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah, I try to frame things differently than maybe they're put generally, such as saying that someone is just a friend, or that people are just friends. They're friends. Friends is to be friends is not less than to be partners. It's different.
That's very wise of you to say. I've been saying something similar for a long time. It's just a different flavor. It's not, oh, this is lesser. This is, and friendship really gets a bum rap in our society, like that it's nothing. The closest friends that I have all demonstrated to me that if they have a partner, I'm still important. So um,
That's
it's
great.
just, it is great. And you know, the really frustrating thing about it is how rare that is. I
Mhm.
guess I got lucky. Also, I put some work into my friendships, so you know,
Absolutely.
there's there's a lot of that that's goes from both sides. But you know, I met some good people, and two of my best friends were in long-term relationships. Um, One of them is married, and the others, one of them was living with a partner for I don't know if it was a year or whatever it was, but you know, and he continued to treat me like he always did. He was never um, acting like, well, now that I have a girlfriend, you're going to have to go on the back burner after 19 years of knowing me or whatever.
Oh,
You know what
wow.
I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's nice to feel like you're still a priority in someone's life, and even though I don't want a partner, you know, I want
Mhm.
somebody who is willing to respect that we're important to each other.
Yeah.
And it's so important that people learn how to do that, but we don't have models for that in our society, do we? we have we have a precedent for prioritizing romantic relationships, and
Yeah.
that it's okay to just kind of deprioritize everybody else, maybe except for family, because you're still expected to call your mom or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, just but one of my closest friends said that if he dated a woman and she had a problem with me, he would dump her first. And I really appreciated that. I mean, I assume that it is true. It hasn't ever come under uh, a test, but
Uh,
you know, I feel like he would not only want to keep me because you know I'm cool, but he he would want to be with somebody who would not want him to lose something important to him because she feels insecure. You know.
that sounds like a great relationship, Ivy.
Yeah, it is honestly. So, but you know that is out there. But I also am, since I'm a romantic, I'm not asking somebody to be my partner,
Hmm.
and um, that adds a level of complexity to it that I'm kind of wowed whenever anybody figures out how to navigate that. Honestly,
Yeah.
we don't have a map, do we? But neither do typical relationships, honestly. So I guess we're doing okay. So what do you have for my next question about the best things about being ace for you?
I think the community is one of the best things. I am very happy with Avon, although I haven't spent as much time on there recently as I did when I first was figuring things out. I'm so happy that resource is there.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe on the lighter side, it seems like if I was attracted to people all the time, that would be really distracting. Um,
Sound like it is.
and um, and I don't know, when I'm planning for the future, I sort of assume that I'm going to be alone, and that makes planning sort of easier, I think. And although if I did have someone with me, that would be a bonus.
Yeah. I really like being by myself. I like a lot of solitude, but
Hmm.
I don't know. How do you feel about that? Are you good with being by yourself, living by yourself, or would you rather have somebody in the house?
Most of the time, I am completely comfortable being alone by myself. But I do feel a bit odd thinking that I might do that forever. I'm not sure I want to do it forever, but day to day, I don't get super lonely.
Yeah.
Uh, just spending time with myself.
Hmm.
It's really just when I think about the rest of my life that I get a little concerned because I would like to have uh, some long-term relationships that last throughout my adult life.
Yeah. One of the hardest things I think as an ace person getting older, you people tend to kind of lean on each other when they have a partner or they have anybody living with them. And people have asked me like, well, what are you going to do? Like they're being mean about it. They're like, well, have you thought about what you're going to do when you get old? And I'm like, you shouldn't get married as an insurance policy.
Yeah,
Like,
oh, that's not the right reason.
right. It's just it is um I think I've read statistics that people who are married usually, or at least men who are married, live longer.
Hmm.
And that is, they talk about how that's I guess attributed to the companionship and the level of activity that you tend to have if you live with someone else. But I think also it might just be uh a very practical thing of if you have an accident or you have a heart attack or something that they can find you.
Yeah.
I've thought about that. I put stuff all over my walls and I'm climbing up these ladders and stuff, putting stuff up, and then I get down on the ground and I'm like, what would have happened if I had fallen? Because I live by myself.
Oh gosh.
My neighbors are not nearby. People don't come check
Yeah.
me. So, I have friends in the area, family in the area, but they know me, so they're not going to just come knock on my door. So, I think about stuff like that, but
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say, well, I need to get married in case I fall off a ladder. So
Yeah.
I guess we're social animals. We are kind of built to take care of each other, but also just kind of during the pandemic and everything, I've been very, very happy to be sheltering in place by myself. It's just like people are driving each other up the wall.
Yeah.
Imagine some people who don't want to be by themselves are very lonely, but I'm an introvert, so I'm like, yeah, all right, this is a silver lining. I don't have to see people. uh, yeah. All right, what else do I have? I have probably a couple more questions. All right. Um, So I actually could have talked about this earlier when we were talking about kind of discovering ACE stuff, but I still haven't asked you what you do as far as like sort of coming out, or who you talk to about being ACE, or who you've disclosed to, how that went and stuff.
Yeah. So when I first realized I was asexual, I did come out to a few family members,
Mhm.
and that went fine. But I realized afterward that it made so little difference to me that they knew. There was no difference in our relationship, so I stopped for a while. It wasn't until sort of recently I decided to start wearing an ace ring.
Oh,
So then a couple people, some friends and family asked me about that, and so I told them. So I think I've come out to around 5 people in real life now,
oh wow.
and that's enough for me. Um, uh, and maybe this is weird to say in an interview, but it really is not so important to me that people know that I'm asexual. Really, I want people to be well informed. Um, but as for whether they know it about me, it's not so important. Really, what I care about is representation. And an interview like this is something I would have loved to see when I was younger, and I still would.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Because, I mean, I can't really think of like, I've never sat anybody down for the big coming out, never in my life. And I mean, I guess part of it is just that I've been a public figure about it for such a long time that people kind of
Mm.
know. If they know that I write and they know that I make videos, they probably eventually figure it out. But
Yeah.
there have been a few people that I'm like, okay, well, I'm telling you this because you need to know how to navigate our friendship in case you thought we were on a date. But kind of relating to what you're saying, I find it pretty relatable that I don't really need people to be up in my business necessarily. I don't need you to know this about me. It's when it's necessary. I'll be glad to tell you. I'll be glad to tell you a lot. But it's not of prime concern. And it's weird because I have also been confronted with this, like, you are always talking about it. This is the only reason people have problem with you is because you never shut up about it. I'm like, you don't know me. I don't talk about this all the time unless it's relevant. And a lot of times it is. So yeah, I relate to that. When you came out to people, did you just tell them on the phone, or did you send them a link, or what did you do?
Um, Actually, one of them I gave them your book,
Wow.
The Invisible Orientation.
All right.
Uh,
And you
yeah,
you said this is about me.
this is I guess because I didn't really feel comfortable going into all the details myself.
Right.
So I thought this is an excellent resource, and it's
Thanks.
very helpful.
It-
So yeah, when I explained it to people, I didn't go into a lot of detail myself, but I made sure they had access to resources if they were interested in learning more, if they wanted to.
That's great. That's a good strategy, because people do start to ask very personal questions sometimes. I don't know if that's really been your experience, but for me, a first conversation about it is possibly going to ask me about my sexual history and if I watch porn. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I just met you. This is a little much. Here's a book.
Yeah. Well, I've never come up to someone I just met, but
Right. Right. Well, you know, it happens. But yeah, so I think that's a good idea to be like, okay, here's an introduction to kind of my take on it. And then if you want more information, here is a link, here is a book, here is a video that gives you 101. That's cool. Makes sense. Um, let's see. I I have a question here prepared to ask you about. Oh yeah, the question about media. How would you say like watching media that's usually very saturated with sex stuff. How does that kind of affect you differently as an ace person, you think?
So a couple of years ago, I remember watching the movie Fault in Our Stars, and it's a teenage romance movie with a male and female lead. And I remember it's not exactly a sex scene, but there is a part in the movie where um, the two leads go on a trip together. They spend the night together. It's very obvious beforehand that they're going to have sex, and then afterward that they did. And I felt so disconnected from the plot of that movie.
Mhm.
I did not understand their motivations, and it was very uncomfortable. So I left. I don't think I watched the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
um,
Wow.
so not I don't really have anything against the movie, but I did not. It was at that time I was about the age of those characters or older, and I was that was before I realized I was asexual. So when I was watching that, I felt like, is something wrong with me? Because I
Wow.
don't get it. Um,
Wow. Yeah.
um, yeah, and I had never liked sex scenes in movies, but at that point, I was at an age where I thought I should understand this by now.
Yeah.
So generally, I prefer family-friendly media most of the time. Um, Steven Universe, for example,
Yay.
as I was introduced to by your channel.
Hey.
Um, yeah, and other than that,
Mhm.
I did enjoy, as far as mature themed media, uh, the TV show BoJack Horseman has some asexual representation in it,
I've heard that.
um,
I
and
haven't
I
watched
enjoyed
it yet.
that.
So it was
I
good?
thought it was pretty well done. Yeah,
You thought the show was good, or you thought the ace representation was good, or both?
I well, I suppose both. The representation is definitely the reason I started watching it, but I enjoyed other aspects of it too.
I've heard it's a little depressing.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. I was asked for some media person sent me a message asking me to comment on the ace representation in when it came out. I guess when it was revealed that this character was ace, was asking me to drop a media quote or something. I'm like, I haven't seen the show, but good for them. You know, I mean, what do I say? Do you just assume that I
Yeah,
watch all ace things? I mean, it's just, of
mhm.
course, there's not that many, so you could probably watch it at
Yeah.
the weekend. Hmm.
Well, the character Todd Chavez, I really appreciated that he was asexual, but it wasn't his only character trait.
That's
He had
great.
a lot more going on in his life. He
That's
was one of the main characters in the show, so that was great.
Oh, I really appreciate that too, because it is very common for anyone who is not straight to be defined by, you know, their orientation. That'll be like the main thing that you think about them. So I think it's wise for them to kind of establish other things about the character first so that you know more about who they are and then something else is revealed. But not like a big, like, oh, we're revealing the truth about Todd, you know, like
Yeah,
it's sounds like they did a pretty good job kind of making it more natural, like a real person figuring it out. That's kind of what I've heard about it.
yeah, yeah. I would say that's the case.
Yeah. I think yeah, what you said about the movie, which by the way, I haven't seen that movie, but I have read the book and I didn't like it. Um and it mostly wasn't necessarily about the romance problems,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
what you said really reminded me kind of a nuance about why I don't care for sex scenes or really in your face romance scenes in movies is that
Hmm.
they um it's not necessarily that I don't want to look at it, although I also don't want to look at it. It's more that I, like you said, don't understand kind of what's going on here. Like they don't do a great job kind of making it necessarily believable that these characters want to be in each other's faces like that. They kind of just assume that you're bringing your own feelings about that to the table and they don't have to explain it to you. And for me, it's like, no, I need more understanding of their motivation. Why do they like each other? I could excuse it if I understood it, but it's kind of like you're just borrowing from everyone knowing what that feels like. And I'm like, I don't really see it. I don't believe it.
It felt, in the case of that movie, it felt as though maybe this was the obvious or the good next step in the relationship. And I didn't feel as though they had built toward that. I didn't, like I said, I didn't understand it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of like teens and stuff will think, well, we like each other more, or we're more serious about each other once we do that. Once we have sex, then we're more an item or something. It's like, there was a lot of that kind of thinking. I mean, they're grading it by which base you're on, and it's just like a checklist, like beating a video game. I never really related to that myself. There was, I think I've told this story before, but there was a book series that I liked when I was in high school, and many years later, I heard that they were controversial because they were so like, there was a lot of weird sex in them, and I didn't remember that at all. And I'm like, what? And then I realized I skipped those parts. I'm just like, they're having, yeah, okay, still have, okay, still have it. Okay, now the story's back. And I literally skipped the good parts. And I'm like, wow, there must have been stuff in there like that I just missed. And I kind of remember that now, that I had to skip those things because it wasn't interesting. I'm like, are these the parts I'm supposed to be reading for? Yeah, I guess it's really different when you don't relate to what's going on. It's not compelling at all, which is probably why I like science fiction. I mean, they do a good job explaining why you should understand or be interested in something. You know what I mean? Like, they know that you've never done this.
Yeah.
No, you've never been to Pluto or whatever. So maybe that's why I'm a fantasy nerd. Okay. So let's see. I have another fun question for you. Coming to the end of the list here now, but what do you think about it when people say, like, humans are here to procreate?
Well, I don't think that's why I'm here. I don't really think that's why humans. Well, I don't think that there is a universal purpose. So that's not my purpose. I don't have any plans to have biological children. So my life is meaningful to me on my own terms, and I'd like to leave my community and the earth nicer than I found it. That's what's important to me.
Yeah. Admirable, I would say. The thing that really strikes me about when people say, but humans are here to procreate, some of us have, some asexual people have had children, and they still get that.
Yeah.
And some of them still want to, and those two things are not the same. It's so weird. I mean, but I guess it's the same thing that gay people get, you know, if they're cisgender and they're gay and they're gonna have a relationship with another person of the same gender and they can't have children, you know, people will say that it's unnatural because they can't have kids. And I'm like, there are a lot of straight people who don't have kids, but they get crap too. You know, it's just not an argument against straightness. So yeah. And, you know, since I'm a lady, like, people expect me to be motivated by babies, which I like babies. I do like them. I just don't want to have any.
Yeah.
I have an adorable nephew, and that's enough.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He is 6, and he just graduated from kindergarten. I'm very proud of him. So, but yeah, I mean, we historically, people who didn't have kids were important to helping with being able to help raise families or help care for other family members or
Hmm.
other things. Plus, like you said, like who gets to decide what's useful? Like we can be useful in many other ways, and we don't necessarily even have to be useful. But I'm doing stuff. I'm making stuff. I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
Ivy, I think you're very useful. You're so
Right.
important to to the community, to asexual representation.
Oh yeah, thank you. Some people would be saying that I'm just helping to spread delusions, but
So,
yeah, I was recently told that I'm a bad influence on children, um,
oh,
because I'm warping them into thinking that it's okay to grow up and not be attracted to anyone, and therefore they'll never examine their mental problems. They'll never get themselves figured out. They'll just give up. And I'm like, they
mhm,
just have no idea how much introspection goes into realizing that you're not a straight person, or realizing that you're asexual. Like it's not just something that you heard
absolutely.
online and they're like, oh, that's me, now I'll never think about it again. Like we continue to think about, I mean, you said you're quoiromantic, and that kind of
Yeah,
implies that there is still questioning to be had.
yeah. Up until now in my life, this has made the most sense. I don't know if it always will, but it does now, and I don't anticipate it changing anytime soon.
Right, that makes a lot of sense, because I mean, we name things as they are now. They don't necessarily imply that we're going to use that word forever. I mean, if my hair starts to go gray, I'll stop saying I'm a blonde. I mean,
Yeah,
if if you grow taller, then you say that you're tall. And it doesn't mean you were never short. So I don't know, it's just there's this resistance, I guess, to naming things if we want a name for it and we find it useful and it's not the mainstream. It's like, you don't need this language. I want to deny this to you because I don't see the need for it in my life. So I'm going to accuse you guys of over analyzing yourselves. And I'm like, you know what? You can butt out. This is not your business. Nobody wants you here.
I would love to tell you, Ivy, as someone who does feel that the asexual label fits, your content has been such a comfort to me. I'm so thrilled that you are putting out these videos.
It's been such a pleasure too. I mean, I get this is comments like yours and comments that I get in my YouTube comments, private messages, anytime I make stuff, anytime I talk to the media, people tell me that they're grateful for it and that this was there to help them find themselves. And, it's that is really what sustained me since the late 90s, is that people keep saying that they need it. And so I'm going to keep making it. It's, and I think also just because I'm kind of one of the older people who's making content these days,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, um, I think it might be helpful for younger people to see that it's not just necessarily a phase. Like you can be a
Absolutely.
successful and happy adult who is, oh my God, past 40 and still asexual, still not regretting everything. I
Mhm.
that is something I cite often, is when people say that my videos or my content has helped them in their lives. Just, it is clearly needed. If I wasn't talking to you, troll. If it's not helpful for you, don't push play. Right.
Right.
Hmm. So I came to the end of my list of scripted questions. If there's anything else you want to talk about from our discussion today, or anything that you thought of while we were talking that you want to tell the viewers or anything, this is the time to do it. Anything?
Um, I think I've covered most of it.
Yeah,
Really, really happy that we got to do this.
me too. Thanks for responding to the invitation. I'm very excited to start sharing all of the videos. At the time that we're making ours, I've only released one, but I have recorded, I think
Mhm.
ours is the fourth. So I will have some more great videos for people.
When you put the call out for interviewees, I was so happy. I thought, what a great opportunity.
Yay! Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just glad it wasn't ignored. I'm just glad that people like want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So thanks for participating. Well, I will say to my viewers, thanks for watching us. And I guess we will see you next time. Also, I'll say, Maxwell, were you planning to, if people address you in the comments, would you be able to respond to them? You have YouTube channel and everything to respond to them?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you may be able to, if you wanted to ask Maxwell anything, he can maybe reply to you if he sees your comment. So thanks for watching us, and we'll see you next time.